Yep.
All right, kick record.
Okay.
You there, Kyle?
I heard
Alright,
it
well,
click.
yeah, I'm going to assume that that's acknowledgement. So we just wanted to cover the bases and give you an idea of what we're looking at this next sprint. So we
sounds
just
good.
lined up a bunch of tasks. These guys just organized their next 2 weeks. They're looking at the first thing we're looking to get done. Ruben, if you wanna list off what you're going after.
Yeah, let me pull up the.
So there were,
Rest.
I think, 3 or 4 that you were going after.
Yeah. I just need to pull them up. So
Okay.
one of the things I'm gonna be working in with is the. Oh, they just added a bunch of stuff. Wait, kind of lost now. We're introducing new question types and the ability to poll students and showing them their individual results display. But for instructor sides, the instructor will be able to actually see who got the question right and who got the question wrong.
Okay. So it'll be a little bit more of a and more in-depth polling.
Yeah, they can pinpoint who's like getting the questions wrong. Let's see. Some other stuff is working with the controller overlays so that it's no longer the hand, but the actual mode. So that you don't need to have somebody present in order to guide you to the basic principles of how to use the application.
So for the
Awesome.
tutorial, we were thinking both tutorials will start off the same way. There'll be 2 tutorials, one for instructor and one for students. They'll have the basic instruction will be the same. So this is how you use our menus. This is how you interact with the controller. This is the format. And then the instructor specific tutorial will have information on how to use the instructor tools, how to kick and mute people, all the instructor specific stuff. And the students tutorial will just explain how to answer questions and what you're going to be evaluated on.
Yeah.
I like that.
We're still like trying to figure out what's the best way of going about this, but that's the main idea.
Could it be an instructor-led student tutorial? Let's say the instructor is experienced, but the students are not. Could that be an option?
We could do something like that. That'll require a little bit of design. I'll make a note of that right now, though.
Maybe just, I don't know, I'm thinking out loud.
Mhm.
As you go through it, that's a possible scenario. And then a standalone tutorial for the student, right from the beginning, probably even before they would enter their name, would be an option to do a standalone.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Right. I think the tutorials will be available directly from the main menu before you go into a room or anything like that. It's like you said, a standalone. You just click on it and it shows you your basic tutorial.
Yeah, I like that. I think that will really allow us to push the deployment, virtual deployment ideas if we have that.
Plus, it'll save us the speech every single time.
Exactly. Which we'll still have to do as we start, but
Yeah. Okay, so that's some good stuff for the tutorial. The individualized results display that he's working on, we were talking about that. So the instructor will have basically a display just like what they have now with the bar graph, but they'll also be able to see who got each thing right and wrong. Basically, their little avatar displayed with like a green circle or a red X across it for each user so that they can know. And then we're going to have the report cards at the end. We'll have the data collection and all that, but that's not for this sprint. That's for the sprint after.
Okay.
And then Kaio, you're going to be focusing in on the UI rework, yeah? The menus?
Those are clicks. I'm going to say that's a yes.
1 click for yes, 2 for no. But yeah, so we got the VR UI package, and it worked really, really well for our keyboard. So we're going to try to integrate those menus. So it'll be the same art and everything that we have, but it'll look a lot cleaner and interact a lot better. So that's gonna be Kyle's first priority. That, along with cleaning up the loose ends on the whiteboard, so that it feels like a fully functional feature. Part of that is going to be gating control to all of the tools, so that the teacher can control who has access to what tools. So if the teacher needs you to, if you raise your hand, you have a question, you want to point something out, the teacher can enable your laser pointer, and then you can point to whatever you need.
Yeah, I think that's key to making these tools work.
Right, because otherwise
Otherwise, it's just going to be a big Star Wars fest.
Right.
One of the things I focused on over the weekend, and you got a couple messages from me, was designing the features that are going to be worked on in the sprint. So the things that were mentioned, if you go into Confluence, like the whiteboard is worked out. I'm pretty sure you saw the whiteboard, but again, I'll share it again. So I'll post it in chat real fast.
Yeah, I see what you're looking at right now because you're sharing your screen.
Okay, that's,
So-
yeah.
Mhm.
Completely forgot I was sharing my screen, to be honest.
Well,
Good thing your mouse stuff was over with. If you're
fully polished.
But all of that's in here.
cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I really like the forward progress here. That's going to be a lot of good diving deeper into this engine that's going to run this stuff. And then hopefully maybe we can get some new content done in the next 2 weeks too.
Right. So
Here's
we
for
were
hoping.
talking about that. Yeah. we don't have any of the integration built into this sprint because, like you said, here's for hoping. But we're going to be doing a lot of the production stuff. So like we were talking about, planning everything out.
Just reserve some hours for who wants to help on that.
Those are
Yep.
listed as tasks as well.
Okay,
Right.
just in case. But we can always push those hours to the next sprint if we need to.
Cool.
Those are 100% as hours and ready to roll.
I currently have you, Brandon, as like booked until the 14th of September. I think you mentioned that you're just going to be
Yeah.
really, really busy until at least that time. So I haven't been planning on, any of the cinematography tasks getting tackled until at least that date.
Yeah, but I mean, we can rearrange some things if we can move forward faster. I'll
Cool.
make sure to take care of that.
Cool.
The sprint was kicked off before the meeting, so you can take a look and see everything. I'll show you the burn down. I accidentally realized that I messed up and didn't put some of the production hours in, so you can see where there's a scope creep. We're at 224 hours, but that's where we should be sitting at. But I can't fix
Okay.
it. But starting out at 224 hours isn't bad.
So a few things I just wanted to touch on about our previous milestone before we wrap up here. I just wanted to talk on our big hits and our big misses and why we missed and what we're planning to do going forward. So we had the big thing of milestone 1 was the OVR rework. So getting all of the student code out of there, getting new clean code in there so that we could focus on Oculus specific deployments. And that was a huge success. Ruben and Kyle crushed for that. Ruben, especially you did a lot of work on that. And so we nailed that. That was a huge win for us. We also managed to get the new assets in there, the UI assets, and clean up a lot of that stuff. That was a huge win. The tools I'm going to call a miss because we did get them in there. We got the prototype versions, which is what we were aiming to do, but we still have there's some bugs. There's some bugs with each one of those systems. And I think a lot of that miss came from the lack of design intent going into those. So we were just trying to get features in. We didn't really have the time to plan them out previously. So they were implemented as they were being designed. So you run into a lot of, hiccups when you do that. So that's something that over the past 2 weeks, luckily we've had some time to catch up with some of the design elements to get ahead on that. So that's hopefully we're gonna rectify the issue going forward.
Yeah, and one thing I'd say there is just make sure we run any kind of, design ideas through an educator, be it Chris or Dr. Lim, just so that we can kind of get a little bit of validation before we start diving too many hours into the idea.
Yeah, good idea.
I'd love to get Chris to take a look at some of the designs that we worked on over the weekend.
Elements.
Yeah, I'd catch him this week if you can, because he's not too busy. They don't start teaching until next week. So.
Okay, cool.
I want to finish the GDD this week, have that completely knocked out.
Awesome. All right. And then one of the other misses that we had was, sorry, I'm just trying to, I lost my train there for a second. That was one other thing.
Always thinking about that. I've been utilizing Full Sail's new guidelines for quality assurance testing and setting up a basic template that we can use going forward, just for more documentation.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the other miss was art. We haven't gotten the amount of art through the pipeline that we were hoping to by this point. That's because we're working with a single artist, and she had some life complications come up, some COVID related stuff. So she was basically out of the game for a minute. We have decided to open up our art board to just everybody. Kaio has good relations with quite a few Full Sail artists, graduates and current students alike. So we're adding them into the project. We're going to give them the asset list and see what comes out of it, see how quickly we can get turnaround on some of these art objects. But yeah, so that was the other big miss of the previous milestone. Other than that, I think especially from an engineering programming side, we hit it out of the park. We made a lot of awesome progress in a short amount of time.
Yep, I absolutely agree.
From the production,
I mean, it's as stable as it's ever been, and the ease of use in there now is way beyond what it was. So, I agree with all your points.
Thanks,
from
bud.
a production standpoint, we pretty much hit all our hours. We didn't really have any delta. If we say that some of the things that didn't hit the miss or the target, we would acquire some delta, but we can just say those are proof of concepts, label them as such, move forward and claim alpha and beta builds, and eventually finalize those products.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
So as you can see, we have the whiteboard alpha, and so that was this upcoming week is going to be our attempt to revamp the whiteboard and eventually make it better.
Got it.
Cool. So, I mean, I think you got an idea of where we're at. The guys know where we're at. Is there anything we need to know from the Advent side of things, how everything's going over there?
No, as long, I'm Jacob, are we on budget? Everything's good? Okay. So, yeah.
Cool.
As long as we're not spending too much money, then everything's good on our side.
Yeah, that's good.
I just want to make sure that we have, budget reserve for anything that comes up.
We got 17,000 for the first 4 weeks. We really didn't do any work because we took the 2 weeks off, and then this is where we're going to be starting at. So we're projected to hit 8,000.
Cool.
Okay. I mean, I think it's fair to say that you guys need to pay yourselves a bit for some design work, if the budget allows.
Yeah.
Because you did do some work the last 2 weeks.
I did submit the
and meetings and such. So.
I didn't submit the invoices until we talked today.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's good. Thank you. Appreciate that, Brandon.
And that means after this sprint, I switched to part-time on this project.
Alright, when do Kaio and I start switching into part-time?
That will be in September?
Nope.
November.
Yep, November.
Okay.
So we'll get a lot done in the next 2 months then. That sounds good.
Right. Yep.
All right, guys, looking good. I'm
Awesome.
excited.
Well, thanks, Brandon. Thanks for meeting with us. And,
Yeah, no problem. Anytime you guys need anything, let me know. Everything's looking good, sounding good. Can't wait to jump in with some new content and with the improvements.
Yeah, so 2 weeks for the next build, and then the milestone build will be in 4. So
Sounds good.
One thing I'd like to do, and if at all possible, because we have in the cards listed for UX, I would like to do small samples for UX, maybe like 5 users, if at all possible.
yeah, we can build that in on our end, Jacob. We'll
Yeah.
figure something else out on that. Well, we can
I'll reach
find-
out to Clarissa and Lauren, and maybe they'd be interested to seeing some of the rework since they saw it too. Maybe we could do a little demo.
Cool.
If we
Get
can
some
start
nurses.
cycling in 5 small samples a week, and then we'll say every major build we get a larger sample size, that would really help our data out in builds.
Yeah, I mean, even if we can just get a decent sample size for the builds, like if maybe we can't get 5 a week, but if we could get like 5 to 10 people for every milestone, that'd be huge.
Mhm.
So every month we do like a big UX.
Yep, I like that idea. I'll try to get as many people, from the hospital side or from the university. We can always count on Dan, Chris, and myself because we all have devices. And then we can set up something, for other people to experience it kind of offline, like we did before with Kayleen and her team. I'd still like to get her in a device if I can nail her down, but she's so crazy. The good news is after that meeting, they've been utilizing the university for more training opportunity in a traditional standpoint. I've made a couple videos for them and things like that. So the partnership is there to continue that work in the VR space with them as leaders, for floor training, which is exciting.
Yeah, it's super cool. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'll let everyone get back to stuff.